in there.
Ooh.
The real live raw and uncut.
Fly.
I see it now. It won't touch my toe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, conversation was so good. We had to run it back for part 2. So we're back today.
Still the same day. Same post, guys.
It's gonna be the same day. It's gonna be posted in 2 different videos the same day. Talking about medication. Tori want to talk about her medication side effects.
The topic is ADHD for those who are not aware.
But okay. Yes, okay, that works.
Okay, so meds, I haven't tried any non-stimulants, so I don't even know how to speak on those. But I've only tried 2 stimulants, and the thing is, if you don't have the right dose, it's crazy. Like, you would think like having more of a stimulant would help you, but it can actually do the opposite and not help you. So it's literally like an equal balance of what your body needs. And I remember the first day I took my meds, I bet you that was the best day I ever had. Literally. And so, like, I guess like it's something new, so it is a stimulant, so it's going to work. And so one thing about, like, you know, people that take ADHD recreationally, they will get the same effects that we get, but it's how
you mean people who take ADHD medications?
Right, I was like recreational.
You mean like people who just take an Adderall?
Yes.
Okay, you said ADHD
recreational.
Oh, my bad, y'all. Yeah.
Medication.
Yeah. I didn't know what recreation. Okay, right. She's talking about medication.
Okay, and people who do not have a prescription who are taking
street ADHD. So they will get the same benefits, but it's how their brain processes. They don't process like ours. Like theirs is like to up and party. Ours is if we gonna take this and we gonna be in the club, we gonna be in the club, focus on some homework or something. Like it's not gonna be the same type of upper for us. Like our brains are responding to it differently, but the same like general as an increased energy response.
Yeah. So the biggest thing I would say when it comes to medication, it is a trial and error. You're gonna have to find what works for you because some people do not do well with Adderall. Some people do better with
Ritalin?
Yes, or Ritalin. Or it's another one, I can't think of the name of it. That's a non-stimulant. And like someone I worked with who was in a management position used something different, but it worked for him. For me, I need Adderall. Adderall works amazing for me.
And also like when you're like new to this and like trying to get on the meds, it was hard. It's still been hard, which is why I had to get the psychiatrist, because you know they start you off at a low dose and you're still trying to get adjusted. So yes, it did work for like a month, but okay, my body used to it. I'm going to need something different. So then you go in. This also goes into one of the myths. Then you go in and like, okay, this is not working. And then I was told like, okay, so you know it's not going to fix everything. And I'm like, yes, but I'm telling you the issues, the specific issue that I'm having, and this medicine will help me with my focus and cut down distractions. So if that's really, if I didn't have to work, I would be living like how I did the last 28 years before I got diagnosed. Like literally, that's only I need it for. Because I don't even like. Well, I used to take it on the weekends, but they tell me I should now. But so where was I at, y'all?
Well, and you can have certain drug holidays. So even my psychiatrist was like, "Well, what drug holidays do you have? Meaning what days that you're probably not going to take your medications?"
Mine are vacations. That's all.
Mine are the weekends. Typically, when I'm not going to take them. Because it's nothing that I really need to focus on, but today I made sure I took them.
But I think, well, I take 2 different doses of Adderall. So I always take my extended release on the weekend, but I won't take my instant releases. So I guess so that way I always got something in my system, because the Mondays, they be hard, man.
But also you work on the weekends too, like with your business. You have to,
but I can, that's
doing your candle, like
but yes, that's something. I don't need to focus. I don't need to have extra focus. I love that. It's a passion. So that's my motivation, because I can get. It's not boring. Work is boring. So I don't need to be motivated to do my candle. Maybe I do need to be motivated to get started like that. But when I do it, I'm in the zone. I'll be up 10 hours like at night, like losing sleep, because I'm hyper focused on that. So I don't really need meds for something I love doing. Which is why I can just be up all night. I'm working on my website, and I'm like, dang, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Going back to the topic about the medication, I noticed more kids using Ritalin as far as the medication. I don't know if that's a medical thing. But
it is. I can say that And if my daughter was in here, she'll tell you that she did not like it. She said, it kept her calm, but she was like, I was wanting to play and I couldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I was sitting there wanting to play, but I was just stuck.
Yeah. So it takes the voice,
the hyper,
like all the way out. So you can't even put the hyperness into a motivational activity. Yes, that's crazy. That's why I told my doctor that when she tried to test me, trial me on that, nah. Because you can have me calm and focused, but I need to be motivated.
The biggest thing I would say with that is be your own advocate.
Which is why
you know what's going to work for you. You know what has not worked for you, and you stand on it. Don't let someone tell you this is not going to work for you or this is this. No, I know my body. I know what's works for me.
Yes,
you started me on this. This is what the outcome was. This is what I feel like I'm still needing. So don't ever stop being your own biggest advocate. That is one thing I would say when it comes to medication, is being your own biggest advocate with it.
Because you know what's working.
In the beginning. And like when you have to, like every so often, like for it's a controlled substance, you have to go in and get your blood tested, because also it can do like high blood pressure and all the extra stuff. So I would literally be going to the doctor like every month or like every other month, one to like tell her about how my medication reacted and like get the blood work done. And like if I came in and told her I don't feel a difference, she would like try to tell me like, oh, take it at a different time. Like, no, it really does not matter what time you take it, because if it's in your system, it's gonna work. So if you take it late, it's gonna work, but it's gonna keep you up later. So if it's in my system, it should be working.
So that is a good point. So that was another reason why I had used that trick of taking it at like 4:30. So my actual psychiatrist said I had it 2 different times. So I took that extended release at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't take that other one, the 10 milligrams, until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, because then that helped me with the rest of my work day until like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I think I'd be on the
So it does make a difference of what time that you take it, because you take it the time when you're knowing your need to focus. Not so like I did take my meds like at 4 o'clock today, which is gonna keep me up way later than I should.
You taking anything after 1 or 2?
So taking it early in the morning, especially if you have to go to work and you have to focus early in the morning, and then taking something at midday will help you with your work.
Yes.
So I wouldn't take it if you forgot you took it. I wouldn't take it if you forgot you took it.
Yeah, I accidentally did that
all night.
I accidentally did that, and I could feel the jitters. I had to flush my system out so fast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the worst. Like you literally have to like wait it out, and like you just feel like almost like you're about to have a heart attack. Like your heart, like oh my god. Like,
yeah. So having a routine schedule or something like that. So whether to help you remember. So I actually started getting like those pill disperser thingies, and I would go ahead and just set it. And just like that person, I would put it next to my bed with a little bottle of water, so that would help me remember. Otherwise, I forget. Or I would have that container in my purse with some water. If I forgot to take it, I take it at work.
And I don't have that issue taking it, because I think why I don't have it is because the whole issue of what happened with my work situation. I need my meds to prevent this from escalating. So I keep my meds by my work computer. So I'm like, I'm gonna take them. I already know to take it. I know the consequences. That's the only time I think I would be like aware of any consequences. Like I need my job, but like so I don't have an issue not taking them. But now being that they're a controlled substance, most if you're like on a lifetime medication, they are normally refilled. We check this out. A person with ADHD who has working memory that's very poor has to remember to request medication before they run out. How, Slay? Like that's just like, and what's crazy is like I'm about to run out like on Monday, and I just notified them yesterday.
But the good thing that can happen with that is that your pharmacy can kind of help you with that. So you can actually go to your pharmacy, and they can help you keep track of that, and they'll say, hey, your medication's needs to be filled. Right. And so hit yes to refill it, and I will hit yes because it'll help me remember. Otherwise, girl, I will
do you go to CVS?
So,
yeah.
Or Walgreens. I do Walgreens.
And they send a text.
But they don't do that. They do that with my other ones. What do you call it?
So then ask them if they can do it.
Because I need something. My reminder is, the bottle is low. Let me go put this in. By then it's too late.
Or, one thing you could do is also put it in your phone.
So there we go.
When you get your prescription, and then put it 30 days. So if you got it today, 30 days, what's that? 12?
13.
13. Okay, I was a day off. So I would put it for like the 12th,
you get like 5
next
days.
month, or like the 10th or something.
Yeah, you
so
can
2
do
days
a few
before.
wiggle room for control symptoms.
Yeah.
Right. Just to help you remember.
And then another thing about meds is this another thing that I don't feel like my primary care doctor was advocating for me on, which I'm going through the psychiatrist. You know, women underdiagnosed, we take meds. Having your period on these meds, your meds are non-existent. You can take them, they will not work. Like the estrogen and the dopamine that your meds are giving you, they cancel out. So even though you're taking meds, it's the worst time of the month for both reasons. Like you're going through.
Didn't know that.
And so I brought that up again, and she was like, well, that's just something, there's nothing we can do. Yes, there is. I've been in my Facebook group. Yes, there is. They can give you different doses for different times, like when you need it, which is why
So like more of a dose around that time?
Yes, but like right now I have a 20 milligram, and you know on the pill it's a 20 milligram instant release, and so I know I cut into 4. So if I need 5, 10, or 15 or 20. Like, sometimes I'll, like, microdose throughout the day if I need more, but I won't take the whole 20 at once. So it's, like, being aware of your body.
It also is, like, a suppressant, so you're not as hungry as
yes, man.
And there's people who have lost weight.
Yes.
Which I did at first, so the first I was on something different.
Yes. Because these same medications are also used for eating disorder, like binge eating, which is so crazy. So, and it's also, even though, you know, we can't on meds. We don't experience normal hunger cues. So we will literally go the whole. I have to make sure I eat breakfast, and also when you eat, the meds like metabolize better. So I eat breakfast, but I may have to just snack throughout the day because you literally don't feel hungry, but you will feel so thirsty, but you will not feel hungry. And so when your meds wear off, you are hungry. Like you want to eat everything in sight, which is the only downside about that, because like. And like again, like we get like ADHD paralysis. Like, okay, I'm super hungry. I don't have time to figure out what I want, so I'm just gonna go grab everything right in front, like fast, quick food, versus like the foods that we should be eating.
Sitting down eating a meal, a balanced meal.
And again, you know, we aren't able to think ahead far enough to know like, okay, if I plan this out, that's just not. It's just hard. Like how our brains are wired. Like, you know, you meal prep.
You don't typically think ahead.
Yeah, well, you're
not
right. Because
you said you're not able to.
Oh, for food, I can't.
It's hard. That also goes back with parenting, because I barely cook, because I'm like, Lord, trying to sit here and think about meal prepping ahead of time. I'm like, I don't know. Because if my kids will say that, Mama, you don't barely eat. I know, but then I forget I gotta keep.
You gotta feed them.
I be like,
you get a meal. She gets a meal when I have her. That's when we eat. When I don't have her, I'm not eating. Like, right. I can starve. I'll be okay. I've done this.
I will be fine. You're right.
I like how many people, you know, come in, and that's just so crazy.
I do want to kind of switch this up, because I think I did already tell you I have a hard time with this. I don't know. I don't have much experience with romantic relationships with ADHD, so I kind of want to ask you about that.
Moving on to the topic of relationships in general, we can speak from both sides, like platonic or romantic relationships. And ADHD.
I have been single for 6 years, so I don't know nothing about the relationship stuff. So
I don't. I think my view is skewed due to me getting in a relationship at the same time I've been diagnosed. So I don't really think there's any. What is it?
Difference?
Like any struggles. There we go. That's the word.
So for me, like, I know I have an issue with remembering things. So forgetting stuff all the time could be an issue in relationships.
See,
or
so
like
his memory is bad, worse than mine, and we have the working memory. No, his is worse. So I'm like, I can't even worse yet. Like, I'm like, how? You don't even like. I'm just like,
so certain things can. I guess it sounds like you're saying like certain things can be a pet peeve, like
right. So you don't even remember, and I'm like, it's not how I'm doing it on purpose. Like, I really just don't. I can't remember what I just said I was gonna do, or
yes.
So that could be a challenge.
That don't happen to me because it's it probably would. Somebody else, it might be that way, but
also kind of like with the relationships. Like for me, I have mood swings. So there's times where I don't really want to be bothered.
But you can feel that way, but you have to communicate that.
Right.
And
But I have a hard time to communicate because communication is a struggle for me.
Why?
It has always been.
What do you mean? Are you surprised people struggle
But
with communication?
I say that because like most ADHD people are like direct and they just speak what's on their mind. So like when I hear that, I'm like,
for me it is.
why? Like,
No. It has always been like I don't know if it's like I don't want to hurt someone's feelings or I don't want to be.
See, this is how ADHD can be different and very
But it's not that I can't be blunt because I am very blunt with my kids. Like, and it's nothing. Or I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need you to go do something. But it's like if I don't want to be. I don't know. I feel embarrassed sometimes the way I feel. So
your kids are always gonna love you. They're gonna come back to you.
Right? Because that's
rejection. Yeah, but I guess maybe that rejection.
That's why I have a hard time
not
communicating.
accept that you have. I have a hard time doing it. But I guess it's kind of like starting out at the beginning. Like, hey, this is, and a lot of people are not going to know what they know ADHD. They're not gonna know what it entails. Especially as a relationship, like a romantic relationship. So just starting out, even when you're hey, this is like not in a way I gotta tell them every single thing.
Yeah,
and
right.
Make it something.
But if I do something like negatively, the negative impacts them. Like, okay, hey, this is why.
Think about when you sit there and say how we don't really have to eat like that. When you're in a relationship, don't you think your man gonna be hungry? Mm-hmm. But I'm staring in my mind like,
because he be asking me,
I ain't hungry. So but I want you to. You've been out there working, baby. You know what? I thank you so much. You have provided for our family. Let me fix you something good to eat. But if I'm not focused on that,
what's crazy is like we deal with a lot of our issues come from out of sight, out of mind. So you have a partner, they're not here all day in your face. And they want something done when you come home. I haven't seen you, so me seeing you is the trigger to remember to do that. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I didn't care enough to do it out of sight, out of mind, literally for everything. Well, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. What about like friendships?
So and speaking of that, I literally probably only have 2 friends. Like I don't, and I think a lot of it is. Believe it or not, I have a lot of social anxiety, so I don't even like being around people.
That goes to RFD, just so you know.
I don't.
I would not know that. We at the family function, you be kicking it.
Yeah, liquid courage really does a lot for me because I get nervous even when I'm around people. Mm-hmm. Even when we're at family functions, I'm nervous. I'm like, but if I'm drinking, I'm cool. So I have a lot of social anxiety when it comes to just being around people. So I literally don't have like 2 friends, and I really don't do stuff with people. Like they invite me stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so introverted as well. Mm-hmm. I'm not an extrovert.
Same. So,
and that's the other thing. It's kind of weird when it comes to parenting because I literally like to be in my room with the door shut, and I'm like, why are these humans depending on you? Why are you bothering me? I can't do this. Right? I am lost in my own thoughts trying to figure this life thing out, and it keeps bothering me. So like, it can be challenging.
Yeah.
So what about with you? How's it
for my friendships?
Mm-hmm.
So if my friend, you with my friend, like regardless of how my symptoms before I knew why they were whatever, you accepted me for who I was. So, but now that it makes them like even more closer because I'm able to explain the why. And so, even though like it's people say like work harder and like or try harder, that's not really a thing that I can do because I can't. You can't fight your brain with as many like other illnesses, addiction, like that type of thing. Like it's the same, not the same type of brain, but like it's a disorder, a disease, basically of the brain. Like our brain is like impaired. There we go, and we can't do anything about it. So I'm able to, even though I'm aware, I'm able to point out like, hey, this is why I did that, and I'm like, okay, my bad. This is like own what I did, but say this is why. So it also is able to create like more grace and understanding as to why I'm doing stuff because I am. Like she said, like which is why it's crazy to me. I've never met any person that was like not outspoken, but I'm outspoken, and I'm like, and I also realized I researched on that is that we are. People would say that I might be nonchalant, I might be direct, or I might be rude. This tone that I have right now is literally like all my tones. I'm smiling, my tone is still the same, so you get the same tone whether I have any emotions. And so if I say something that people perceive negative, it's not that I meant it that way. It's literally I said the first thing that came to my mind. I can't control. You know, people say think before you speak. I can't, and I realized we can't think before we speak because we think about so many other things. So I've got 17 things in my mind, and now you want me to also think and formulate my words. So it's not always the easiest because my brain is already in capacity with stuff.
So speaking from people who may be like, well, like there's certain things that, even like you use the example of addiction. Okay, people who are addicted, they have to make the choice to change, and they have to go through a lot of therapy and certain things to not be addicted to a certain thing. So when you say, I can't do this, or I'll tell somebody that this happens because of this, and that's why that is, it can sound like, well, this is why I am accepted
but
for who I am.
It literally is.
Hold on. And that might be why you are, but that doesn't mean that you can't try to do something a different way. So when you keep saying I can't, but I can. It's hard for me, very, very, very hard, and that can be the place where there's grace. But saying I can't doesn't leave any room for you to improve on.
Right,
something.
and that is something I will say is because I don't like the word can't. I struggle with this.
Well, this is gonna be
and I can say that because me being a caseworker, it was hard for me to shut up and not interrupt.
We overshare.
Right, we overshare so much, and it's like I sit here and I'm like, oh girl, but this is his, or oh, you know, and it's like shush and listen. I have a big challenge with that, and sometimes I would tell clients, you know what, I apologize if I interrupt you. I struggle with that. So
and it's like finding something else to do in place of that, like substituting. And
that's something right there. That's the thing you're trying. Something.
I'm talking about like some things, yes, like the interrupting, but like something literally like the whole thinking before speaking. Like if it's like your habit, like you've done this, like I can't stop my brain.
You cannot. You may not be able to stop your brain, but it's hard.
It's hard.
I can stop mid sentence.
I'm literally.
Yes, you
had to sit here and go
always
like this. While sitting here talking to me. While she's sitting here, I'm like, let me raise my hand. Let me do this. But then it's like I'm still trying to rehearse everything I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to listen at the same time. It's like, damn, I don't want to forget what I'm trying to say, and it may sound weird. But sometimes I will sit there and walk on the notepad.
I do that. Like if I'm doing that, then I'm not listening. So I'm rehearsing what I'm saying. So now I'm not focused, which is why it has to come out.
But it doesn't, because there's things in your mind that if you know how people are like, if I had superpower to read minds, like or everybody there are things we say in our mind, even people with ADHD. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's something in your mind that this is not appropriate to say. That woman over there is fat. I'm thinking that in my head. I'm not going to tell this woman that she's fat. Like that's just an example of something. But there are certain things. Okay, yes, but there are certain things that you're just not going to say that you may be thinking.
It depends on
it kind of does.
Because I'm not saying I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. There's certain things.
I'm trying to make a point about this. The point I'm saying
you
is
already said
no.
It came from my point of talking about people who are in interaction with people with ADHD.
Yeah, like we talked about in the part 1 video, the whole neurodivergency is a spectrum. So autism is on there. Would you tell if a person with autism tells you they can't? Would you tell them that they could if they literally they can't, or any other bipolar is on that thing? If they literally can't, would you tell them? So they're all on the same thing.
Practice. It's not that you can't, but okay. Are you willing to learn a different method? Is another thing. Are you willing to try? Because there's something. I mean, I get it. If physically you can't, and
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Physically, like
but it's also I'm willing to try this even if I fail at it because I've given it a try to try things. So I do try, but then it's like if I've tried, it's still not working. But guess what? It's just not working. But I did try this.
Yeah.
But I don't look at it as this all or nothing. There's other different avenues that I can at least try. Because for me, I'm be honest, I don't know, Lord, I'm just kind of expressing all this, but like I'm kind of mean. Like I'm very mean, and I'm trying to work on not being mean, especially with my ADHD.
Define mean, because people say I'm inbound, but I mean
I'm rude. So like I just sat there and said, it's around your birth state. Like
that's not rude. That's direct. That is direct.
It is, but I can say, you know what, Zaraya, right now at this point in time, I think it.
But that's the impulsive. That's the impulsiveness. You said exactly how it came out of your mind.
That is rude.
But it can be hurtful.
Yes. It can be just things that
saying, "Where's your brush?" and go in there and go wash.
So
that's kind of mean. Instead of saying, "Listen, sweetheart, at this point, I know you were extremely excited. What you want to tell mommy? Could you tell me after you done brushing your teeth?" I mean, it's just the way your presentation. That's what I mean. Your presentation could be work. For me, I try to work on it, and that's all I'm gonna say with that. I guess we'll get to the next one.
Wait, I need to tell you about my introverted, extroverted.
Yes, I am very introverted. Go ahead.
And I am fake extroverted. Only because I'm extroverted around people I'm close with.
You know what? I can say this. I have a professional and a personal life. So professionally, I'm very extroverted. People would never know that I was.
That's not very outside. Y'all don't get to know me. Don't get to talk to me at work.
When I have to, so it is because
you're trying to put yourself out there to do what you need to do to get through the day.
And I taught classes, I taught people, so I would walk in. Good morning, hello, how's everyone? Blah blah blah. When I get home, ooh, leave me alone. I don't want to talk. Leave me. Yeah. I'm very. So I have a professional and a personal life. My boss even said, she's like, I would have never thought you were introverted, girl.
Yeah,
I don't like people.
That makes sense.
And I'm the opposite. I like my people that I like, but I don't like people that I don't like. Like if I'm in a setting of people that I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm going to only talk to people. I mean, I'll say hi and I'll be rude, but I'm going to only talk to people that I know because, like, I
think I've trained myself to be like that, and I didn't even realize it.
But I don't like small talk, and people that I don't know like to do small talk, and I don't do that.
See, that's why I.
And we don't
like small talk either.
It's boring.
But it's like I don't either because I'm like, what is boring? Talking to me.
It's a filler. It's a filler.
But I don't see it in the way of like. In the way of what is your point of me talking to me? For me, it's the
people are really friendly.
It's awkward. Like I can have an awkwardness like that. I don't really like socially kind of awkwardness too. I'm like I don't want to.
And some people
sit here and just pause. This silence, and I can do silence. You can just sit there and we can sit. We don't even need. We don't need to talk.
I agree.
But the talking
if it ain't got no substance.
Yeah.
What is doing?
Yeah, I don't know. But okay, moving on to myths.
Oh, that is just an excuse for not being able to do things. That is oh my gosh, it bothers the heck out of me. Because it's like I'm working so hard at doing certain things that you don't even know how much I struggle. And it may seem easy to you, but it's extremely challenging for me. You know, same thing like when I say it's a challenge, and for me having social anxiety, it is a challenge for me to even socialize with people.
So it's like adding extra things. It's not just the ADHD, but then I have the social anxiety, then I have depression and anxiety.
And on top of it. So it's like, oh my God, it's so much things and so many people. Even like when I had said that, I have a really great friend who is good in business, and then some people may be like, well, you're not working hard enough, or you're just
like, why can't you just do it?
Why can't you just do it? Like, if you want to do something, go for it. Set your mind and do it. It's not that easy for me, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I cannot stand when I see on Facebook where people like slowly discount people because they can't do something. Yeah, like, oh my gosh, like go move around.
The thing about it is the little steps. Because again, we have all these things. We can, let's say, okay, for me to go from here to my car, it's a simple thing. But there's a lot of tasks. I gotta go out here, avoid all these distractions to get to my car. I can't avoid them. So to get to an end goal, there's so many things that go on in between there, and it's like overwhelming. And then we get into a state of what they call ADHD paralysis. So we physically can't. We just shut down. There's so much going on. We're overwhelmed. So now we can't. Like we're froze. We freeze, and we can't do anything. So it's not that we can't.
Or don't want to. It's that there's so many different challenges for us to get from A to B.
Because we can't block out the in between.
Yeah, that's a lot of the myths. Is like you're just there. There's everything to me. The biggest thing that people say is there's excuses, and it's like no. If you really understood, or if you understood ADHD, you would have more grace. Yes. But when speaking about grace, that's another thing I say. Not for other people to have grace for me, but for me to have grace for myself. Is a big thing with having ADHD. I have to give myself grace.
Give myself that younger grace.
That you know what, I'm doing the best I can with what I'm given. And that was also kind of like, I'm kind of getting off subject, but things that I had to do for my parents. I had to learn how to forgive them with certain things and say, you know what, they're doing the best they can from what they were given. And I'm doing the best I can from what I'm given.
And it's
not going to stop me from growing.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's called, that's part of the growth mindset that we teach students in school. Like, you have these tools, use these tools or what you have, but do what you can. We're going to grow together. It's a collaborative type of effort. Like, the growth mindset is, I can't do this yet, but I can get there, or this isn't happening, but I may try it, just to continue to grow. You don't want to stay where you're at but you continue to grow. But you continue to grow at your pace. You realize you're not gonna do like the example of going out to the car. Okay, it's not necessarily a growing thing, but okay, we're gonna both go out there. I'm gonna get to the car quicker, but your pace is different. It's not something to compare to somebody else's journey to get to that place.
Exactly.
And like you said, like being lazy, the procrastination. I found we're not motivated by things like rewards. Like, okay, I know if I do this, I'm gonna get this. What we are motivated by and we get our dopamine from is the pressure. So until the pressure is on, we wait till the last minute. That's why we procrastinate.
Cannot. Like, stresses me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, people that that are neurotypical, that gives them anxiety. We thrive under that pressure. We can excel. We can excel. So literally.
Yes. But also, I think people because I know a lot of people procrastinate. I think that might be one of those characteristic that's like not just.
But when I say procrastination, I'm saying like ADHD paralysis, like that. There's two different, like there's like lazy procrastination, like we want to do it but we can't do it. You don't want to do it. You're just not doing it. There's two different lazinesses. I don't even know. There's two different things of why we can't. And so that's what I'm like. Oh,
like I literally, and sometimes for me, and one thing I had honored, I really liked about you, you was like, no, I'm not late to stuff. For me, I am late to everything. Literally everything, but it's for me. I feel like I
feel like you were
on time.
Always on.
I mean, she was on time to the function, right?
She was on time to that. Girl, and I was like, I know Renique's gonna be on time, but granted, I mean, I guess it depends on the situation.
It does. It literally does. So for me, it was 4:26.
You said you're not late. Oh, sorry.
It was it was 4:26. I left Independence at my house, and I was like, we're gonna be late. And Zara was like, well, technically, according to the GPS, we can get there exactly at 5 o'clock. She said, unless you're gonna get there in 13 minutes instead of 17. I said, watch me get there faster.
Challenge accepted.
Right, I like because that's
the pressure. It motivates
the pressure that motivates us. And even though I passed this mug up, even after the motorcycle was behind me, she said, "Mommy, passed." I said, "Girl, how you know?" Because we passed the blue door.
I was like, because the kids know. And they pay attention to
that. But it's that pressure that motivates us. Like, oh my God, I got this so much time to get it. I'm going to beat this.
And it's important, when things are important. That's why,
And I won't. So I was late here today, but it wasn't intentional. But I'm saying like I don't like to be late. The consequences. I know there are consequences, but do I care enough about the consequences? So for me, procrastinating to do homework, and I know the consequence is if I don't get it done, I can't turn it in. I'm going to get a 0. Me about like being late, I don't really too much care, but I am on time. Being that if I'm late to something, it's something that's going. Even I get there, it's still going to be going on. It's not dead set, ended, can't do it. Unless it is something like you get there and the door is closed at this time. So it's like there's a leeway. So you just slide on in there. So if it's either if it's like a hardcore, you can't move, no wiggle room, I'm gonna get it done at the very, very last minute at the 11:59.59.
But it's turning by 12.
I'm gonna say this.
But being somewhere,
being late is rude. Because even if it's not a set time, that's people's time.
So for me, I have a hard time.
I wasn't thinking about that. That's the thing. We think we got more time
than we actually do.
And that's fine. But the way you described it, okay, if it's a set time and there's no wiggle room, okay, well there may not be any wiggle room.
But I can say one thing I do is I set my clocks way ahead of time, and it bothers people. But like my clock in the car is 30 minutes faster than what it is. It has to be. It has to be.
Otherwise, I'm like 30.
It has to be 30.
Okay.
That's how much I'm late. And I guess that now this is already out in the open. I would kind of lie to my clients and be like, "Girl, it was somebody else, and it was me running who was behind."
Wow.
I done got it off my chest. It was
relief.
Yes, I could sleep that night.
Oh, one last myth is that we're drug seekers. If we got real ADHD.
Who said that?
No, that is it.
We are drug.
They think you're just want to get
again to use it as the recreational Adderall. No. So the thing is,
you got a diagnosis.
But even still, like they think we want it. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah, but no, because the same way, like I told my doctor,
like
I have glasses. If I told you that my prescription was not for my glasses, would you send me out there not being able to see? So if I tell you the prescription is not right for my brain, you gonna send me out there not with a functioning brain? Like, come on. So I'm like, you can't.
The sad part is because people have abused it so much.
Yes.
You know what I mean, let's just be
recreational.
Honest. Adderall is nothing but meth in a cup. In a pill.
But
that's really what it is.
Speed.
But you have so many people who have abuse it or who sell it and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it hard for those who are really trying, who are struggling. Like, I need this to help me function because other people has used it. Oh my,
yes.
And they sell it and make money. It makes me feel like I'm drug seeking.
So bad.
I'm trying to function just like a neurotypical person, but I don't have it. It doesn't come to me so easily. So I'm trying to function just like you are, and you're making it harder, which is, it becomes a challenge, So,
and people it's such a big thing that like doctors will drug test people for that in order to give them medicine. I saw one of my groups, they drug tested her for a medicine and it was not in her system, but she hadn't been taking it forever. But they would not give her the specific drug test for the medicine. Like, different drug tests show different things. So if you're not, so some of these medications they won't show up, but Adderall would. But she was on one that wasn't like whatever it is. But so like they would not fill her prescription. So now she's out here struggling because you done took her test and it shows that it's not in her system. But granted, you have done your job as a doctor to order the right test to test it.
And I can say, just kind of moving along a little bit, having medication with other things, so tying it with therapy helps, or kind of like with work. As you were saying, the body doubling. So one thing that would kind of help me is, even if I didn't need to talk to someone, having someone there in my presence for me to focus and finish what I'm doing.
That's the pressure there. That's so much pressure thing, like going back to procrastination.
Yes, it's just something when someone's there. It's like that unknown accountability partner to help me stay focused.
So if y'all want to be either of our body double, you can just like
body doubling.
And just, you ain't gotta talk. That's the thing. It's really weird.
So no term I like
literally
that because that can be helpful in a lot of instances. Just get yourself up, get yourself moving, do what you need to do. My last thing. What is one thing you guys would like to leave people with? Either about yourself, specifically in ADHD, or about ADHD in general.
I want to say for the people of color, whatever color that there is that don't worry about a stigma. Get the help if you feel that you need it. There's no use of suffering in silence and carrying that different, that challenging along with you and passing it down when there is so much information, so much help that is out there. So being a person of color, I know that sometimes you feel like, I don't know.
We see on TV or we heard from our grandparents and all that.
Get the help that you need. And like I had told in the beginning, I personally requested for a person of color when it came to psychiatry, when it came to therapy, because I felt like they would understand me. So don't suffer in silence. Get the help that you need. And build your tribe. Like, it was a blessing to me when I found out, hey, my own cousin has ADHD, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't feel so alone. So, find out that there are support groups that can help you do your own research. One thing I do want to say real quick is one thing that I have found when I did the research online is that overseas they actually have those who specialize in occupational therapy help those who have ADHD with time management. I know, but one thing I did do is that my primary care doctor was out, so the one who was subbing for my primary care doctor, I asked him, could you put a prescription in for me to see the occupational therapy for ADHD? And he was like, for what? And I literally told him, I said, because it has been shown in overseas that it helped when they need help with time management, when they need help with organization, that an occupational therapist can help them do those things.
But that's why you need a specialized doctor, because general medicine, they treat things generally like kind of surfacely. So
and like that's why I gotta move, gotta go.
What's your point?
My 3 points. One is for those.
She said 3 points.
They're small.
No, it's fine. I was like, what's your point? My 3 points.
For those that are watching it, are probably like people in our age range, and if you think that you want to go get tested and you do find out as a late diagnosis, you will feel like some regret of like your past pre-ADHD, but it's okay to relearn yourself, and now you're able to have the clarity and understand the why you do some certain things. And then my second point would be for the people who are watching who are in our proximities or even know people, if we tell you that we have ADHD and after you watch this video, have some grace. Know that we're not making an excuse. We already beat ourselves up daily, and we're struggling to do better and complete things and put the pressure on ourselves to do better and try to, combat and overcome ADHD, even though you can't. Like, we're already putting that pressure on. Have some grace for us, like, an understanding. Like don't treat us like, oh, we just making it up and we just faking it. I promise you, you're not.
Right.
And also, the women, like she said, women of color, please, if you think you might have the symptoms, go get a referral, go to a psychiatrist, because I don't know if I said this on camera earlier, it was general, there's like 5% of the population, the total population, every races and genders, are ADHD. Only 5% out of everybody.
Small.
Very small.
Thank you, ladies, for that. So it sounds like our 2 takeaways are: get the help that you need if you need some. You said 3, but your last one was just like hers. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today, because I got the memory.
Right.
What did you say?
I don't know.
You said get the help, and you said get the help in your last thing.
Okay. That working memory,
right? I
forgot. Lordy. Yeah. So get the help that you need if you need help with ADHD or mental health in general. Don't let it stigmatize you. But also give people with ADHD, people who are in your life, and people you connect with,
try to understand and ask questions. That part.
Give them some grace and try to understand their diagnosis and how to function with them, with that person with the diagnosis.
How you can be a support.
Yes, support your people.
So how you gonna support us?
I gave y'all a platform. There y'all go. Put y'all right on out there. I just gave y'all PSA to tell the people what y'all need. That's my support. I got y'all.
I like this though. It was really therapeutic.
It was.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time I post a video. Bye.
Holla.